Hello and welcome. So guys, I hope you all had a wonderful holiday season and I want to wish you a very happy new year. Today I have a very special video for you because of course I am a little bit late to the game, but I'm still planning to share with you my favorite fragrances of 2024. You will agree with me that during 2024, there were so many fragrances that were launched. I didn't pick them all up, but I picked up quite a number of them. And today I'm going to share with you the 21 fragrances of all of the fragrances that I picked up in 2024 that I consider to be the very best. All of these fragrances were launched in 2024, and I will let you know why is it that I think that they're the very best. But I also want to tell you that this is the first of 3 videos where I will be discussing the fragrances of 2024 before we move on to 2025. Today I will be sharing with you the best of 2024. In the next video, I will be sharing with you the worst fragrances in my opinion of 2024. And after that, I will have a video where I will discuss the most hyped fragrances of 2024. So they were very hyped, but do I think that they were worthy of that hype or not? But before we jump right in, if this is your first time here, I'm Arahi, and I'm your fragrance concierge because I'm totally committed to creating the best fragrance experience for you. I upload videos multiple times a week, and in this channel, we talk about all types of fragrances. Now, if that sounds like the type of content that you're interested in and like a good plan, then please consider subscribing, give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget, leave a comment. Let's go. So the first fragrance that I want to share with you is a fragrance from a fragrance house that I really just started to look into during 2024. But once I tried one of their fragrances, guys, I just could not stop. I picked up, I think it was either 3 or 4 bottles. And I have to tell you that the fragrance that they released in 2024 is just to me an absolutely beautiful fragrance. And I'm speaking about the House of Bo, and this one is Bonbon. Now, Bonbon is to me like the perfect contrast between floral notes and like a sugary, boozy kind of backdrop. It is such a different fragrance. I really have nothing like it in my collection. But to me, the beauty of this fragrance is that it is just like so smooth, so elegant, so understated, but it will still make an entrance. It's just a very, very interesting DNA that this house has, and this fragrance is no exception. House of Bo definitely has fragrances that, for example, Lamar and Rosario, that are beautiful fragrances, but there's just something about Bonbon that is just so different. I really have nothing like it in my collection. This is also a fragrance that while it will not announce your entrance, you will definitely get compliments. It is just so smooth, and there's something even comforting about this fragrance. Here you have some Lily of the Valley, caramel, cognac. It is just a beautiful fragrance. The next fragrance that I have for you is from a fragrance house that most of us really, really love. And I'm speaking about Electimuss, and this one is Spice de Arno. Now, during 2024, Electimuss did launch several fragrances, but I have to tell you, this one is my favorite. Spice de Arno, as the name says it, is a fragrance that is quite spicy, but it's also ambery. There's like an edge that is added by like the note of leather, and then there's a tad of oud. But although you have leather and oud, which of course I'm sure you would agree that could be quite overpowering, those 2 notes balance very well in this fragrance. And the result is just a beautiful, beautiful fragrance that will get you a ton of compliments. And while you're wearing it, you're going to feel like a comfort, like cozy. I can't explain it. This fragrance also has a ton of vanilla, but balanced very nicely again with the leather and the oud. The oud is one that is very smooth. It's almost negligible, guys. I don't pick up a lot of oud in this fragrance. Let me know if you pick up a lot of oud in this fragrance, if you have it or if you've tried it, because to me the oud the way that it's been done, it's almost like a level 2 bordering on a 1. It's just a very, very smoothly done fragrance where the leather and the oud come together and blend very nicely. The next fragrance that I want to share with you is from Atelier de Eaux, and this past 2024 they did launch several fragrances, but again, of all of the fragrances, and I did pick up several, of all of the fragrances that they launched, I can tell you that my favorite is definitely Blue Madeleine. And this fragrance is one that not many people enjoy, but I have to tell you, to me, this fragrance, although I don't think it was designated as a gourmand, to me, this is an absolutely beautiful fragrance. This fragrance is, oh my goodness, this fragrance is like reminiscent of when you go to high tea or afternoon tea and you're sitting there and they pour you a just incredibly aromatic and beautiful cup of Earl Grey. And they add some cream and you put a little bit of sugar, and then you have that incredible cup of tea with like some crumpets and some madeleines, and it is just perfection. This is a fragrance that not only do I enjoy wearing it when I'm going somewhere, but it's also a fragrance that if I'm home, it just gives me like the most comforting feeling. There's something so soothing about it. To be honest with you, when I first started using it, I was wondering if maybe there was some chamomile here, or, you know, something that's known to be very soothing, because I have to tell you, this is a very beautiful but soothing kind of fragrance. The next fragrance that I want to share with you is from Bond number 9, and this one is number 1. Now, like most fragrance houses, guys, this past year, Bond number 9 launched so many fragrances, and I was able to get my nose on pretty much all of them, and I did pick up several. But of all of the fragrances, I have to tell you that number 1 is definitely my favorite. This is a fragrance that is a mix of white florals and yellow florals on a backdrop of a ton of vanilla. This is a very vanilla-centric fragrance, but the vanilla here has been done in a bit of a different way because it does allow the florals to come through. This is a fragrance that you want to wear when you want to feel beautiful, but you also want to get a bit of a cozy feeling, because the vanilla in this fragrance will give you a bit of a cozy feel. This is a fragrance also that I think you could probably get away with using all throughout the year and just about for any occasion, day or night. The next fragrance that I'm going to share with you guys is not going to come as a surprise, because this is one of the most, if not the most hyped fragrance of 2024, and it is a true love. And I'm speaking about Amouage Guidance 46. Now, you guys may recall that, of course, we first had Guidance, and then now in 2024, they launched Guidance 46. I was very hesitant to pick it up at the beginning because, number one, the price tag was quite high, and number two, while I absolutely love the original Guidance, I thought to myself, okay, why do I need to pick up yet another one? It's just probably more intense with a bit of a twist to it compared to the OG. But guys, when I tell you, I am so glad that I took the plunge and picked up this fragrance, because this has got to be my highest compliment getter fragrance, period, of my entire collection. This is a fragrance, guys, that I'm not going to sit here and talk about it forever, because I did talk about it in detail in a review here on the channel, and I'm sure you've heard so many other content creators talk about it. The only thing that I can tell you is that this is truly a fragrance that, in my opinion, is worth every penny and could very well be the best fragrance of 2024. The next fragrance that I have for you, and I'm wiping it so you don't get all my little fingerprints all over it, but the next fragrance that I want to share with you is from Thameen, and this one is Center Stage. Now, guys, this has got to be the most beast mode fragrance of 2024, at least of the ones that I tried. I am telling you, when I first received this fragrance, guys, I hadn't even opened the box and I could smell it. This is a fragrance that, when I tell you, will not go away. It is relentless, whether it's on skin, on paper, on your clothes, it just will not go away. You really have to really scrub yourself almost to the point of bleeding to really get this fragrance off. But let's talk about the fragrance itself, because this truly is an exceptional fragrance. Let me tell you that this is truly a fragrance for purple florals lovers. So if you love iris, if you love lavender, this is the fragrance that you definitely want to get your hands on. You have to try this fragrance. So this fragrance is all about those purple florals, but interestingly enough, they have also added quite a bit of white florals, and then add to that some spicy notes. At the end, guys, at the dry down and throughout the entire wear of this fragrance, you are going to get an exquisitely bold, like mysterious vibe kind of fragrance. And I just absolutely love it. This is a very, very different way to do lavender and to do iris. I have other fragrances that do combine those notes, but here it's been done in a very different way. And when I tell you, this is a high compliment getter and truly a powerhouse. I also want you to know that this is not, to me, a feminine fragrance or feminine leaning fragrance. This is truly a unisex fragrance. So you have to really appreciate a true unisex fragrance if you're going to enjoy Thameen's center stage. So the next fragrance that I have for you will not come as a surprise, because this is a fragrance that, well, I don't think it was super hyped. There was definitely like a certain level of hype involved with this fragrance. But I tell you, I really think that it was more than hype worthy, because this is another masterpiece from Christian Provenzano, and this one is Roca. I can tell you that I picked up several fragrances from Christian Provenzano during 2024, and he was really busy. I have to tell you, he and Quentin Bish must have been non-stop during 2024, because it just seemed like every week we had a launch from either Christian or from Quentin. But anyway, Roca is a fragrance that, guys, when I tell you, it is the epitome of elegance and sophistication in a bottle. This fragrance is just an absolutely this fragrance smells of opulence and wealth for sure. This is not the fragrance you want to pull when you just want to go below radar or be understated. It's a fragrance where you're going to find some saffron, some raspberry, some caramel. Absolutely beautiful. Let us know if you've gotten your nose on Roca. So the next fragrance that I have for you is from Kajal, and this one is Icon. Now, when I first sniffed this fragrance, I thought that that the fragrance was giving me a bit of a similar vibe to another fragrance from Kajal, which is called Lamar. But I have to tell you that the more I used this fragrance, the more I was able to appreciate the differences. A lot of people say that, that they get a very similar vibe, and some people say that they're period very similar, that there are some definite strong similarities, but I have to tell you that I definitely disagree. They both have pineapple, and what I think really that we're really picking up is the fact that the pineapple in Icon and the pineapple in Lamar have been done pretty much the same, because it's the DNA of the fragrance house. But I have to tell you that this fragrance, oh no. And this fragrance has notes of passion fruit, which right there, that makes a huge difference. And that's actually the number one reason that I picked it up to begin with. I mean, Kajal is a fragrance house that creates fragrances that are powerhouses and that are exquisitely blended. But when I saw the note of passion fruit, I knew I didn't even need a sample. I was just going to pick it up. So this fragrance has pineapple, passion fruit, ginger, praline, sandalwood, and all on a base of musk. So it is a musky fragrance. But the musk is not the star of this fragrance. The star here is definitely, to my nose, the passion fruit with a second roll from the pineapple. But this is a fragrance, guys, that is, of course, a powerhouse. It's a fragrance for when you want to feel empowered and confident and bold. This is a fragrance that you definitely need to get your nose on. So this next fragrance is a designer fragrance, but guys, this may very well be my favorite designer fragrance. And there were so many great designer fragrances during 2024, but this one, Oh my goodness, guys, let me tell you. First of all, let me just tell you that I'm talking about Valentino, born in Roma, and this one is Donna the Gold. So this is a fragrance, guys, that the first time I used it, I went to a restaurant and I couldn't even walk into the restaurant without people stopping me to ask me what I was wearing. This fragrance is one of the most addictive fragrances that I have in my collection. This is one of those fragrances that you have sitting on your boudoir or on a shelf or wherever you keep your fragrances, and you're just going to go and pull it just to sniff it because it is that addictive. This is a fragrance, guys, that, oh my goodness, you could wear for any occasion, day or night, but I would not wear it for those occasions where you're going to perspire or you're going to be exercising or anything like that, because it is a powerhouse. The performance of this fragrance is, on my skin, definitely beast mode. The fragrance has notes that, to my nose, are more about like gardenia, coconut, and some mandarin. Those are the three notes that I pick up clearly with this fragrance. And at the dry down, the coconut is the star of the dry down with this fragrance. But the coconut is creamy and it is just beautifully done. It's a coconut that does not give you a tropical vibe at all, which makes this fragrance very versatile and one that you can use all throughout the year. So the next fragrance that I have for you is a fragrance from a fragrance house, guys, that every time they launch a fragrance, it seems that I just run and pick it up because the DNA of this fragrance house, and specifically for gourmands, to me is just so special. And I'm speaking about Narcotica, and this one is Love Me Latte. Now, guys, I have to tell you that for me, this is my favorite gourmand of 2024. This is hands down a fragrance that is so different and so special. This is a fragrance that has notes, and let me tell you. So the notes that are dominant to my nose are pears, figs, cherry, coconut milk, caramel, and the roasted coffee bean. Because the key, oh my goodness, the key difference in this fragrance, guys, is that roasted coffee bean note, which I pick up on clearly. But in addition to that, the caramel is like, I don't know how to explain it. You can clearly pick up on the fact that the caramel is like a creamy caramel. And the fragrance, while being sweet, is not very sweet. And when you wear this fragrance, the beauty of it also is that you're not really going to smell like food, but you're still going to know, and others will know, that you are wearing a gourmand. As always, the olfactory journey with this fragrance is just exquisite. There is just no mistaking that this is an exceptional gourmand and that it does center around the note of coffee. So the next fragrance is from one of my favorite fragrance houses, and this year I am planning to do a lot more fragrance house spotlight videos, and I do plan to feature Nishane. But this fragrance that I want to share with you today is, of course, a 2024 launch, and this one is Tuberosa X. Now, guys, let me just start by saying that I, at this point, have the entire X line, and to me, they just took all of the OG fragrances like Ani and Hachivat and Tuberosa, and they took them to the next level. Not so much in performance, because you guys know that Nishane fragrances perform no matter what. But I have to tell you, oh my goodness, the blend, the scent profile, the everything from the X line to me is just so special. And Tuberosa is not the exception. Actually, it's my favorite from the X collection. And if you are a tuberose lover, I have two fragrances in this lineup today that are tuberose centric, and this is one of them. I'm telling you, you have to get your nose on this fragrance if you are a tuberose lover. Let me tell you why I think this fragrance is just outstanding. So this fragrance has a very peculiar combination of white, yellow, and are you ready? purple florals. Yes, you heard me right. So you have the white florals, guys, that you know could be really heady, and then you have purple florals, which are not known to be demure. As a matter of fact, they're known to be quite complex, and you have to kind of be into them to even like a fragrance with purple florals. But in this fragrance, they have combined white, purple, and yellow florals. But the lead of all of the florals is definitely the tuberose. I don't pick up on the yellow florals a lot, but I do pick up on the florals. And to my nose, the lead of the purple florals is the violet, which really surprises me because typically when you throw in lavender in a fragrance, the lavender tends to, you know, make itself present quite frequently in the olfactory journey because it's a pretty strong note. But in this fragrance, the blend, I am telling you, is just incredible. This is a fragrance that you could definitely make your signature scent, but I personally would not, because I don't think that this is a fragrance that I would necessarily wear to the office because I think it is a bit much. This is a fragrance that is very intense from first spray all throughout the wear of the fragrance. This is not demure, but this is a fragrance that you could use for any occasion except for casual occasions. I just don't think that this is a good match. But other than that, guys, this is just, to me, definitely one of the best fragrances of 2024. Now, this next fragrance is not one where I'm going to spend a lot of time because I have featured this fragrance here on the channel. I don't know, guys, I lost count at this point. I even made it a point to not pull it anymore, but of course, you know, this being the best fragrances of 2024, I had to bring up Donna Karan, and this is Cashmere and Palo Santo. Oh my goodness, guys. So this is the fragrance responsible for me picking up all of the fragrances in this collection from Donna Karan, because all of those fragrances, the fig one, and I can't remember what the other ones have, but I can tell you that the fig one, the one that has the note of fig as like the main note, and this one are my favorites, but they are all exceptional. But Cashmere and Palo Santo, oh no. This one is all about vanilla, Palo Santo, and a very juicy peach. But the focus of the fragrance is not around the peach and that it's a juicy peach or a ripe peach or anything like that. No, because the thing about this fragrance is that it's so well blended that while you know and you can pick up on certain notes, you still are just more interested in the entire blend of the fragrance. I can tell you that this is a fragrance that is not a beast, but it does perform rather well and it does give me a full day wear. But the other thing about this fragrance is this is definitely a compliment getter and a fragrance that you could very well make your signature scent. This is one that I would use for any occasion, day or night. I would just kind of like control the amount of spraying that I do. If it's like, if I'm going to the gym or yoga or anything like that, and I feel that I want to wear this fragrance, then I would control the number of times I spray it. Because while it's not a beast, it's also not a weak fragrance. But all in all, this is a beautifully elegant, sophisticated fragrance. I don't think it's unisex. To me, it is definitely a feminine fragrance, but I tell you, Cashmere and Palo Santo. The next fragrance that I want to share with you is from a fragrance house that I just discovered during 2024. But guys, I tell you, at the rate that I'm going, I think I'm going to have all of their fragrances because there is just something about the way that they blend these fragrances where there is like a focus note and you can definitely pick up and know that that is the center note of the fragrance without it being screechy or overpowering or done in a tasteless way. These fragrances have a level of like sophistication and just smoothness that is just unbelievable. And I am speaking about, and I hope that I pronounced this correctly, it's called Le Primordial, and this one is Iris Palladium. So this one, of course, as the name says, it is all about the purple florals. So this is for my purple florals lovers, because when I tell you this fragrance is the ultimate collective of purple florals. Here you have some iris, some violet, some lavender, and they've all been done beautifully with a backdrop of some woody notes and a good bit of vanilla. There's also a bit of spiciness, and I pick up on like the note of cardamom, but I also think there's other spices because, yeah, every time I sniff it, I tell myself, they did not disclose it, but I think there's some pink pepper or pepper here. I just really picked that up. But what I can tell you is that the focus of this fragrance is definitely on the iris. Oh my goodness. Although all the other purple florals are here and you will pick up on them, the iris is the star. Anyway, let us know if you tried this fragrance. The next fragrance that I have for you comes as a result of an incredible collaboration between two masterful perfumers, one being Paul Guerlain and the other one being Julian Raskinette. So these two perfumers, in my opinion, came together and gave us Chamomile Satin from Dries Van Noten. Oh my goodness. I really think that they like developed this fragrance and then they just dropped the mic when they launched it, because oh my goodness, guys, this fragrance is understated elegance that refuses to be ignored or put in a corner or in the background. So this is for those occasions where you do not want to necessarily make a statement when you walk into a room, but you definitely want them to remember you. Because with this fragrance, you are just going to attract people, and in the best of ways. There's such an air of elegance and sophistication, oh my goodness, to this fragrance. This is all about, I walk slowly, I never rush, I'm not stressed, I'm just calm, cool, and collected all the time. That's what you're going to get from this fragrance. Here, the dominant notes to my nose are definitely the chamomile, orange blossom, and vanilla. Those are definitely the dominant notes, but all of the notes that they have shared with us are definitely present, and you are going to find them in any part of the olfactory journey. You really are, because this fragrance is so well blended. This is also a very high compliment getter. All right, guys. So this next fragrance. Oh, okay. So let me just start by saying that we are approaching like maybe the last 7 fragrances in this lineup, and all of the fragrances that I've shared with you today have my heart and passion, but these that are coming up, wow. Okay, so remember when I told you when we were looking at Nishane's Tuberosa X, I told you that there were 2 tuberose-centric fragrances in this lineup that I really recommended that you get your nose on because they are masterpieces. Well, this next one is that second tuberose fragrance. And when I tell you, this is perfection. And I am speaking about Maison Crivelli's Tuberose Estral. Oh my goodness, guys. I will never forget the day that I finally received it, and I pulled it immediately out of the box and I opened it and I sniffed it. I almost fell out of my chair, because when I tell you, this is incredible. But I am going to warn you, like all, in my opinion, all Maison Crivelli fragrances, this is not a fragrance that you want to blind buy, even if you are an avid tuberose fragrances lover. Oh no, this is a fragrance that you want to get yourself a sample or a decant, because this is not a safe blind buy. The second thing, which I believe, in my opinion, is very much in all of Maison Crivelli fragrances, is this fragrance gives you a very complex olfactory journey that is not going to be for everyone, because in the olfactory journey of this fragrance, there are times where you're going to pick up on a specific note, which I'll talk about more in a minute, and it's going to be very intense. Then it'll, become less intense as the journey continues. But all in all, you are going to have those moments where those notes are going to be Very dominant, very in your face, and you may just not appreciate it. So let me also tell you that when it comes to Maison Crivelli fragrances, all of the fragrances that I own from Maison Crivelli, and at this point I think this is like my 6th bottle, they are all, when I say beast mode, beyond beast mode, okay? Beyond beast mode. And this one is no exception because, guys, this is not only an extrait, but this is a 32% concentration fragrance. Yes, 32%. So I tell you, this is one that you definitely want to get yourself a sample of and try it before officially picking it up. But all in all, guys, this fragrance is just a masterpiece. This is just absolutely incredible. Here you have definitely a very centric tuberose note, and to my nose it is coupled with leather, with the note of leather, and the leather is not demure, the leather is present. So in my opinion, you also have to love and appreciate a leather fragrance. This to me also does not lean in any direction whatsoever. This is very, very much like most of the fragrances that I have from Maison Crivelli. This is very much a unisex fragrance. So this next fragrance, guys, is also from Maison Crivelli, because since I started talking about one of the Maison Crivelli fragrances that I had in the lineup, I figured let me just continue with the next one. And of course, these were all launched in 2024. But this next one, now Tuberose Astral, guys, is a masterpiece. But this next one, okay, let me just tell you that I am speaking about Oud Cadenza. Guys, this is a fragrance that it is my understanding that it took the UK by storm when it was first launched. And people were like selling and decluttering fragrances just so they could pick up this one. I mean, I have to tell you guys, this fragrance came out, it was sold out, and then it became available again. And this is truly an exceptionally done fragrance. This is so different, but as the name says it, you really have to be an oud lover. Not because this is a very barnyard kind of oud. No, it's just that the oud here is unapologetic and very much bold, in your face and present. But the oud is just so beautifully done, guys. So beautifully done. I have to tell you that for me, this fragrance may very well be, in my opinion, the #1 contender to being the best fragrance of 2024 when we compare it to Guidance 46. Are they the same? No. Do they give me the same vibe? Absolutely not. Are they in the same scent profile? Absolutely not. But I'm just saying that this is a contender, in my opinion, for best fragrance of 2024. So guys, in this fragrance, you have, like I said before, a very dominant oud. But let me tell you the note that really sticks out to me immediately. You have a combination of like oud and dates. The dates are very dominant to my nose and on my skin in this fragrance. And you have like a spiciness coming from cardamom, saffron, and some pink pepper. And those three I really do pick up on throughout the olfactory journey and then at the dry down. And none of those three tend to take the lead when it comes to the spicy notes of the fragrance. And then, guys, you have some sugarcane, some caramel, and some incense. But curiously enough, this fragrance is sweet, but it's not very sweet. And you would think that with notes like sugarcane and caramel, you would definitely have a very sweet fragrance. No, I just think that it pairs very nicely with the oud and dates, because to me, the stars of this fragrance are definitely the oud and the dates. But when I tell you this is a super ultra love for me, I can't speak highly enough of this fragrance. So the next fragrance that I have for you is from a fragrance house that launched this year so many fragrances, guys, but so many fragrances. And in addition to that, they're also going through a process of like relaunching, right? Like relaunching as in launching again fragrances that were already released at some point in past years. And then they're launching them in a new bottle. But this fragrance that I'm going to share with you is not a relaunch. It's truly a new launch for Creed, and I'm speaking about Queen of Silk. Now guys, I have been a Creed follower for many, many years, and I have to tell you, you may not agree with me, you may know of another fragrance, and if you do, let me know. But from what I consider to be ladies' fragrances from Creed, this to me is an unprecedented DNA, because this fragrance is intense, unapologetic, bold, and in your face. Queen of Silk is not a fragrance that everybody is going to love. This was not designed to be mass appealing, in my opinion. This was designed to like make a statement that there's an era of change coming to Creed. That's how I feel about this fragrance. This fragrance has some passion fruit, some white florals, some myrrh, and some incense, guys. And when I tell you, oh, this is so exquisitely done, guys. This is an extremely mysterious, dark kind of fragrance. When you want to convey not necessarily an air of sexy, but an air of mystery and dark, and it's just a very, very different but exceptionally done fragrance. And I am here for it. Let us know if you've gotten your nose on Queen of Silk and your thoughts. So this next fragrance is from a fragrance house that you guys know. If you've been following me for any amount of time, at this point you must know that I am completely obsessed with this fragrance house, and I am speaking about Mind Games, and this one is Mentor. Now Mentor came out in 2024, I think it was around mid-2024, and Mind Games has been very busy in 2024, guys, because they launched 4 fragrances, and I've picked up 3 of the 4 that they launched in 2024. Now Mentor came out with another fragrance called Prodigy, if I remember correctly, and I did pick up Prodigy. Prodigy is somewhere there in the back. I think there it is, and it comes in a white bottle. But I love Prodigy. As a matter of fact, I love all of the fragrances that they launched in 2024. But Mentor, guys, let me tell you, I don't know if it's because I've had the opportunity to use it more than the latest ones that I've picked up, you know, Counterplay, and I can't remember the name of the other one, but Mentor, guys. To me, Mentor is just an incredible fragrance because, you know, there's a note of oud, and the note of oud is present. Is it dominant? To a certain extent it is, but here's the thing. I don't even know yet how to categorize that oud, because the way that they've done oud in this fragrance is not in a way that I have seen it done before. It is a very smooth oud, and there's been many fragrance houses that can do a smooth oud, like Fragrance du Bois. I'm coming up next with a fragrance from Fragrance du Bois where the oud has been done very smoothly, and there's other fragrance houses that can do an exquisite oud. But there is still something very different about this oud, and it is pulling me all the way. I am here for it, and I am loving every minute of it. In addition to that oud, guys, you have some salted caramel, oh my goodness, some plum, and tonka bean. Those are the dominant notes to my nose. Those 3 notes, in addition to that very, very special oud. And to me, this is yet another exceptional fragrance from Mind Games. And I could have very well brought all of the fragrances that they launched in 2024, but I wanted to give a special place for Mentor because of that difference in the oud. Let us know if you tried Mentor and your thoughts. All right, guys, so this past year, you will agree with me, there were so many cherry-centric fragrance launches. Oh my goodness. It just seems like every fragrance house, regardless, right? Whether it was in niche, in Western niche, or whether it was in Middle Eastern, or whether it was in designer, it doesn't matter. It just seems like there was a need for cherry fragrances every week, because it seems to me like every week or every other week, there was a new cherry fragrance of some sort being launched. So it was really hard for me to pick one. I didn't want to bring all of the cherry fragrances, but I have to tell you, I just picked the one that I was able to use the most throughout the year. but I have to give an honorable mention to 3 other cherry fragrances. But now I am going to focus on Fragrance du Bois Sereine. But I need to do an honorable mention for 3 other fragrances, and that's EBK Cherry in Heaven. That one just came out maybe like a month and a half, 2 months ago, and I picked it up immediately, and I will have a dedicated review here on the channel very soon. The next one is Moresque Perpetual. Oh my goodness, that came out earlier in 2024. Guys, that fragrance is exceptional. The cherry is so juicy and perfect and so well balanced. It doesn't have anything medicinal about it or synthetic, just an exquisitely beautiful fragrance. And then you have, of course, BDK Rouge Smoking, the Extrait. Oh my gosh, talk about a dark cherry done in an exquisite way. So those 3 fragrances could have very well been in this lineup, but I had to focus on Sereine because Sereine, guys, to me is the perfect balance between oud and cherry. And then, as if oud and cherry weren't enough of a challenge, they topped that by adding the note of incense. And those 3 notes are the dominant notes to my nose for this fragrance. This is a fragrance, guys, that I will use for any occasion, day or night. But this is a fragrance that you can use when you want to feel sexy, when you want to feel empowered. It is such a versatile fragrance. It is such an incredibly done fragrance. When I first received it, I have to tell you, it was a bit smooth, and at times it would like disappear when wearing it on skin. But as the months have passed, this is not a beast mode fragrance, but this is not a weak fragrance. And the oud has become more dominant with time. So I would say that the oud in this fragrance is like a level 3, and the oud, while smooth, is a very dominant note and very present throughout the entire olfactory journey and throughout the wear of the fragrance. But along with that oud, you're continuously going to pick up on that note of cherry. And the note of cherry is not in the backdrop at any point of that very dominant oud, which I find rather interesting. It's always there. The fragrance is sweet, but it's not very sweet at all. And it is just a beautifully, beautifully done fragrance. And here we go, guys, with yet another violet-centric fragrance. But I have to tell you, I don't know if you guys may recall, because I'm pretty sure that I did haul it here on the channel. And I told you that this is an obsession for me and nothing has changed. And I'm speaking about Xerjoff, and this is Levar del Sol. Oh my goodness, guys. This fragrance is not for everybody, okay? This is not a very complex, in my opinion, or, you know, there's no screechiness to this fragrance or something that may for sure not sit well with most. I just don't think that this is a safe blind buy, because there's something about this fragrance, like in most Xerjoff fragrances, that make it stand apart from your regular fragrance. This is a fragrance that is very comforting and soothing to me while still allowing me to feel beautiful, and I can dress up with it, I can dress down with it. It is just a beautifully done fragrance. But at the center of the fragrance is definitely the note of violet. This is a fragrance that, in addition to that violet, you are going to find the note of patchouli. And the way that the patchouli has been done in this fragrance is that creamy patchouli that is definitely present. And the patchouli is with you throughout the entire olfactory journey. But in addition to the patchouli and the violet, you have some musk. And the musk is, like, I would say, a level 3 musk. You also find some caramel and some cardamom. All in all of those notes come together very nicely with what seems to me, to my nose, a continuous backdrop of a mix of fruits, making this a very, very versatile fragrance, and a fragrance that will definitely strike your fancy, but it won't be a fragrance that will be overpowering in any way. So while it's not a fragrance that you would say is not groundbreaking, because I don't think it's groundbreaking necessarily, but I don't think it's just a regular common fragrance. It is just a very, in my opinion, non-offensive kind of fragrance that will allow you again to feel beautiful, and you will smell yourself because it does perform incredibly. This is a compliment getter for sure, and it is a fragrance that has a very, very strong projection, guys, for over 2 hours on skin, at least on my skin. And it is a fragrance that, as I said before, of course, has a moderate sillage because you are going to get compliments. Let us know if you've tried or if you picked up Le Val del Sol. So the next and last fragrance that I have for you today, guys, is a fragrance that when it was first launched, there was quite a bit of talk about it. It seemed to appear everywhere. It wasn't necessarily hyped. I wouldn't say this fragrance was hyped, but quite a number of people talked about it on different social platforms. And let me just tell you, so I'm speaking about Amouage Love Delight. So it just seems to me that this fragrance was talked about quite a bit when it was first launched, but then Guidance 46 came onto the scene and it took all of the thunder away from this one. And I am here to tell you that this is an incredible fragrance, guys. This has got to be one of the most addictive fragrances that I have in my collection. This is yet another fragrance that I take moments to just go uncap it and sniff it because it is that addictive, and the smell is just absolutely glorious. Would I say that this fragrance is a full-on gourmand, that as soon as you sniff it, you're going to say, oh yeah, this is a gourmand? No, I would not say that, but it is a gourmand. But I just don't get that strong gourmand feel or vibe or scent from it. In this fragrance, you're going to find some ginger, and you're going to find a beautifully done rose. The rose is not the focal point at all. Then you're going to have some vanilla. You're going to find some cocoa. And guys, it all comes through. It all comes through clearly in this fragrance. But as most Amouage fragrances, I'm not sure that this is a safe blind buy either. I would definitely recommend that you get yourself a sample before picking up a bottle. But I will tell you, this is one of those Amouage fragrances that if you fall in love with it, you are going to be addicted to it. And if you don't like it, you may just not like it, period. But anyway, guys, I think that Love Delight is definitely one of the best launches of 2024. All right, guys, so we've come to the end of today's video, and although it was hard to select just 21 fragrances from all of the fragrances that I picked up in 2024 that were new launches, I can tell you that these truly are the fragrances that I believe are the very best. And of course, this is my opinion. To me, they are the very best launches of 2024. These fragrances are going to make you smell fabulous. They're going to make you feel fabulous. And they give you an incredible olfactory journey and an overall exceptional experience when you wear them. And I have to tell you that I have just enjoyed so much filming this video because I was able to sniff them and I was able to reminisce about how they make me feel or the experience that I get when I wear them. Anyway, guys, as always, thank you so much for hanging with me today. Please let us all know if you've tried any of these fragrances and your thoughts, and I will see you all in the next video.